The top stories: Malaysia and Ethiopia vow to deepen South-South cooperation. And Russia says it is backing the development of African agriculture sector. Hello and welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. With the news, I'm Shifara Olago, and thank you for watching us. Now, Malaysia and Ethiopia vow to deepen South-South cooperation. Malaysia and Ethiopia signaled a major elevation of their relations on Wednesday as Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed hosted the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim for bilateral talks at the National Palace here in Addis Ababa, with both leaders underscoring their commitments to stronger South-South cooperation. During a joint presser, Prime Minister Abiy said the visit reflects a deepening partnership rooted in shared principles. Ethiopia and Malaysia share a history of friendship and cooperation grounded in the non-aligned movement and South-South cooperation, he said, adding that their engagements open new doors for their friendship and cooperation.
This visit marks a new chapter of South-South partnership grounded in shared values of harmony, inclusivity, solidarity, and human dignity. Together, our two nations form a bridge between Asia and Africa through cooperation and shared prosperity.
The Malaysian Prime Minister, on his part, characterized the visit as more than a diplomatic engagement, describing it as a family visit and highlighting the depth of interest Malaysians have long had in Ethiopia's history and identity.
The discussions covers a comprehensive area. Of course, diplomatic engagements must ultimately result in strong economic fundamentals of trade, investments, and relationship that covers research, tourism, collaboration in various fields, including culture, the arts, which we have actually deliberated at great length.
Moving on, climate experts praise Ethiopia's heightened climate leadership, highlighting the country's strong commitments reaffirmed at the Africa Climate Summit held in Addis Ababa just 2 months ago. The experts commend Ethiopia's priorities for clean energy transition and climate adaptation, noting the nation's growing role in shaping the continent's environmental agenda. With Ethiopia now set to host COP32 in 2027, experts say the country is taking Africa's climate voice to the global stage, showcasing the continent's vast potential to turn climate challenges into opportunities for sustainable development. They express full confidence in Ethiopia's capacity to hold the summit successfully. Have a listen to this.
And I and we at Woodwell are incredibly excited that Ethiopia will be hosting COP32. I think it's a remarkable testament to the leadership Ethiopia has shown. I think they successfully hosted the African Climate Summit earlier this year, and I think they'll build on that. I think for any country to host a COP, it's an incredible challenge, and wherever it is, there are always bumps in the road, if you know what I mean by that. But I think Ethiopia will be successful. I think, again, it's a testament to the leadership that they've shown, and I'm glad they have 2 years to prepare for it, because it is a huge job, but it's a wonderful opportunity.
I attended the Africa Climate Summit, the second Africa Climate Summit in Ethiopia just 2 months ago in September. I thought it was very well done. I really appreciated the priority focus on the clean energy transition, on adaptation, which is an issue very near and dear to my heart, as well as on forested landscapes, and ensuring that there's adequate sustainable finance to flow to support all three of those. I've been working closely previously as a negotiator with the Least Developed Countries Group, and I'm really happy to see an LDC stepping into this leadership role, even more so to host a COP just 2 years from now.
Ethiopia has been demonstrating leadership domestically, so in the country, has been demonstrating leadership regionally with the recent hosting of the Africa Climate Summit, and now it's actually taking that leadership to the global stage with the COP32 presidency that will be taking place in Ethiopia, that has been fully endorsed by all African countries. And I want to commend Ethiopia on actually stepping into the global stage to lead what will be COP32. Ethiopia has been very clear in the recent summit in Addis that Africa is a continent where there is an opportunity to invest in solutions, that addressing climate change is an opportunity for development. And that recent meeting in Addis has showcased that in numerous fronts. I think that that same message, the message of turning the needs of Africa into the opportunity of growth for Africa, is something that will be taken to that global stage where Africa will be able to show everything that it's doing and also be able to share experiences with other governments around the world to chart a common path for the actions that all countries are taking on climate change and development.
The Russian embassy in Addis Ababa held an international conference on African countries' food sovereignty. In his remarks, the Russian ambassador to Ethiopia, Yevgeny Terekin, has reiterated that his country is actively cooperating with AU and other regional blocs in the implementation of Agenda 2063 and over development of agriculture. Tigstanisa reports.
Major challenges on food sovereignty includes corporate control over food systems, climate change, trade barriers, instability, and the unequal distribution of food. Russian embassy in Addis Ababa has held an international conference on African countries' food sovereignty. In his remarks, Russian ambassador to Ethiopia, Yevgeny Terekin, has reiterated that his country is actively cooperating with AU and other regional blocs in the implementation of Agenda 2063 and over the development of agriculture.
Russia is actively cooperating with African Union within the implementation of the Agenda 2063, interacts with the World United Nations Food Programme, takes part in the International Fund of the Development of Agriculture. We use our funds to purchase food made in Russia also, which then is being delivered to the most demanded where it is most demanded.
Ethiopian Minister of Agriculture, Addis Arega, for his part, stressed that Ethiopia has placed agricultural transformation to the core of country's development agenda.
In Ethiopia, we have placed agricultural transformation at the center of our national development agenda. Our focus is clear: to reduce import dependency, harness our land and water resources more effectively, modernize our production system, and build a food system that is productive, competitive, and sustainable. One of our most notable achievements has been our Irrigated Wheat initiative, which has transformed Ethiopia's position from net importer to a nation that fully meets this domestic demand and is now moving toward becoming a net exporter.
Deputy Minister for Namibian Agriculture Ministry, Ruthi Masaki, highlighted that Africa can ensure self-reliance through capacity building.
Africa can still do a lot of things in terms of the strategy in order to be self-reliance or to manage the food sovereignties. One of the strategies is capacity building. In the areas where, or in the country where we find that capacity building can be a problem, that's where we need to send expertise to assist that countries in order to stand on their own, to understand how best they can produce food in their space.
Overcoming food sovereignty challenge is said to require a shift towards decentralized, sustainable, and community-led food systems.
And finally, EU ambassadors in Ethiopia have announced that the upcoming EU-AU 2025 summit in Angola's Luanda will underscore the deepening partnership between the two countries. Speaking at a media briefing on Wednesday at the residence of the EU delegation to Ethiopia, Sophie from Amesberger, the EU ambassador to Ethiopia, highlighted the critical role of the summit in advancing cooperation and celebrating long-standing alliances. Kasaun Chane reports.
The 7th EU-AU Summit slated for November 24 to 25, 2025 in Luanda, Angola is poised to reaffirm a strong partnership, championing effective multilateralism and shared values made a stable and global landscape. According to EU-AU Ambassador Javier Nino Perez, the summit's central theme will be effective multilateralism and its vital role in fostering prosperity and stability.
We want to say, first of all, that we believe in multilateralism. The theme of the summit is precisely about effective multilateralism and how effective multilateralism can contribute to prosperity, to stability. And we say that, I insist, at a time where this is maybe not the flavor of the month in many parts of the world, but we strongly believe that these partnerships, that any partnership, is about interest, obviously, but it's also about shared values, about respect, about dialogue, and about cooperation.
Ambassador Perez underscored that Africa is beginning and eager to expand its political and economic influence, stating Africa is growing and is willing to know its business grows more politically and economically.
Africa is growing and is willing to grow, is eager to grow more politically and economically, and Europe is certainly willing to accompany Africa in that process politically and financially.
Reflecting on preparation, Sophie from Amesberger, the European Union ambassador to Ethiopia, reported a very busy year of high-level engagement since the launch of the 50-year celebration.
Today it will be the focus on the African Union, EU and the summit, but maybe some lines from my side about what has been going on since we met last time with this launch of our 50 years. And I can say that it has been a very busy year in many different ways, that we have had high-level visitors. We had His Excellency the President Taye visiting Brussels early October, meeting with the leadership of the European Union, participating in a Global Gateway Forum. We also had the Foreign Minister went to Brussels, in fact, also to prepare for this summit, as a ministerial EU-AU ministerial took place in May.
Well, dear viewers, you have been watching EBC World. Now a quick recap of the top stories. Ethiopia and Malaysia vow to deepen South-South cooperation. And Russia says it is backing the development of African agriculture sector. Well, dear viewers, that brings us to the end of today's news. Many thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.